Hello and welcome to Talk Time Anime. My name is Luke and I'm joined by Jordan, Eamon and Lewis.
Hello.
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 Sure. Yeah.
Today we're going to be discussing chapter 295 of My Hero Academia. So, a very interesting chapter. It sets a lot up, which it makes it even more interesting actually after Horikoshi's comments yesterday about ending the series soon. We won't go into too much detail about what that could all mean and stuff. We'll just stick to what's happening in the chapter, but as we'll talk about, it's just interesting that
he does put a new perspective on it now.
What's happened in this chapter?
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's get into it then.
Yes.
The first panel is like Deku knocked out. After being knocked out.
He gets straight up
by the
voices of one.
By the
He literally got spider senses.
By the intensity.
What is this?
Yeah, we'll get. Hang on.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Slow down.
Sorry, boys. I'm getting excited.
By the intensity of Dabi's flames, and the first thing he looks for when he wakes up is to make sure that Todoroki is all right, and he is. Todoroki remains the only one out of the three who can somewhat stand up.
Stand up. Yeah.
He can mobilize himself. Yeah.
Bakugo, bless.
So we've been talking about what's going on with Midoriya for a few chapters now. And it has been confirmed that it's all to do with his next quirk awakening.
Yeah.
Which is a quirk of the all-important fourth user. So this guy is the guy that All Might was worried about.
Right.
He didn't have all the notes on him. This is also the guy that Bakugo was angry at All Might for not telling them both all about.
The truth.
It's very unsettling.
So it seems like it is some sort of spidey sensor, like a danger sensor.
It does seem like if you can't control it though, it can cause immense pain. From what Deku was saying anyway, or it might be his condition in general.
Deku looks like he's hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very severe stabbing headaches.
It's based like a migraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he hasn't had training for this one, so he's taking it all on the chin at the moment. It's causing him a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And this interests me a lot because I've seen theories of this guy being connected to Makia.
Yep. Okay.
And now we know sort of the details of his quirk. It's interesting how Makia can sort of sense stuff, from great distances.
Yeah, he has like really good sense.
And this is also like a sensing.
Similar.
Yeah. That is true.
Brothers though.
So it's just very intriguing. Like the guy also, like when we saw in the film of all the users standing together, like he's like twice the size of like an average person.
Need to rewatch that film.
So this guy is massive.
Yeah. And like,
so he's very interesting.
Do you think that's like the extent of the quirk? Because like it just seemed a bit crazy, like why All Might would keep that like a secret, like that kind of power. Like when we theorized, like some people theorized was like, is it something dangerous, like potentially dangerous, or could it be dangerous for Midoriya?
Well,
in a way,
that would have to be that would have to be one of the reasons.
Yeah, or is it just something to do with the person himself, like kind of thing?
I reckon the thing is, we don't know enough about whether if he was actually a hero or not. He could have been a villain for all we know. Just had the power of him. Yeah, exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
I've seen some of the translations for All Might's notebook, and apparently, as part of All Might's notes, this guy lived in the forest or a mountain far away from society.
Oh, okay.
I guess because his quirk enabled him to sense danger from afar, and then he could get there quickly because of
especially in nature
power and all of that.
Yeah.
So maybe it has an effect on people around him. That's why he isolated himself.
Yeah, or like
who knows?
Maybe
he
I was
too
just
much.
thinking maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's too much. Like it's like it overpowers you. Like you're always constantly sensing it.
Your senses are 24/7.
And you saw how much pain it was causing Deku, innit?
Yeah.
Well, the other issue is if he's in pain like that, he could unleash his other powers as well.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And you know what's the threshold for danger? What is this quirk's definition of danger? You know.
Yeah.
So like, if Deku's walking through school and someone trips over or something, is that going to give him like a serious headache?
Headache, yeah.
You know?
Shooting migraine or something like stabbing pain.
We don't know enough about it. It's very interesting.
Yeah. All Might needs some explaining to do.
Yeah, moving on.
Right.
You need to go back to be like, bitch. You need to tell me what's going on.
Bakugo knows what's up, for sure.
Well, he's the one who's the most.
Yeah.
Ask the real questions.
So moving on then, we go back to so at the end of last chapter, obviously Mr. Compress revealed his face and closed with this line about the curtain rises for the first and final escape artist performance. And Mirio is chasing him down, and so we continue with that. It looks like Mirio tackles him down, and then we get like this perspective. Yeah, we get this perspective from Mr. Compress, which is really interesting, actually. So he talks about, using the Nomu to escape, and he needs to wake up Shiggy in order to control them, as we know.
Yeah, and he kind of trusted thing, didn't he?
It's kind of...
Yeah, he's trusted Spinner to look out for it.
Yeah, which was really cool. Like how he said Spinner is like his most devoted follower.
And that really surprised me.
And, in the League of Villain arc, like Spinner was kind of like not so much the main guy in that arc, but he was like the one it was all kind of for, in a sense. Yeah.
It's fun that back then, even before the League of Villain arc, because he'd always be spouting about his he'd follow he didn't exactly decide with his ideology at the time, isn't it?
Yeah, he always questioned if it was the same as Stain's.
Yeah, exactly. So because obviously he was a follower of Stain.
Yeah, he was like the biggest.
But like now, this new ideology for Shigaraki is, pretty much inspired him to stay with them. And if anything, he's kind of accepted them as family now, isn't it? The whole League of Villains.
Yeah,
exactly. And like Spinner, although Spinner's not like the strongest of them all, like I think in terms of like one-to-one dialogue, he's had the most individual time with Shiggy. So it's nice to see Mr. Compress acknowledge that. So what he does ultimately is he last chapter as well, we were wondering what had happened to Dabi or Toya, and so
got confirmed, didn't it?
Hiding in the cape.
It was hard to tell from the images last chapter what exactly had happened. Yeah.
But you were right when
he
you're
was in Spinner's scarf.
So he basically pressed him and put him in there. Get him out of there. It's weird though. Like I suppose he has to get him out somehow. But it is strange. Maybe that was why he'd done it. Was because he knew Dabi would keep fine. But Dabi seemed in not great health, but it seemed a bit better than say like some of the others. Like
I don't know whether he was thinking.
Dabi left.
He was going to go all out against Endeavor and all that. He's going to forget about the objective kind of thing.
Yeah.
The day.
Yeah.
Dabi didn't want to kill Shoto in the end because Endeavor had passed out.
I suppose his goal kind of went a bit. Yeah. He was just like, let's get me out of here.
We discussed that. We discussed that all last chapter. Mirio can, as he takes out Mr. Compress, it releases Shigaraki and Spinner again. And before Mirio can get to Spinner, we get All For One re-enter the scene. Which is interesting.
It was
so
done
excited,
really well.
man.
I think it was done really well. But you still had Shigaraki's face, the hand on his face, and then it's but then you see it's molding into All For One on the side.
I was so excited when he put that hand on and he was awake, and then finding out it was All For One was kind of disappointing, but then at the same time it was like, fuck, what the hell's gonna happen now?
Well, that's such a mad thing to...
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah.
Oh, man.
it's crazy because this is what I mean when, now my perspective of the series timeline has changed. I'm confused as to why Horikoshi is adding so many new like villain plot points.
Yeah. I agree.
So he's set up now this internal struggle between Shiggy and All For One. So that's in motion now. And so All For One awakens after Spinner puts the hand on Shigaraki's face.
Yeah.
And he refers to, he says like, oh, he's found himself some good allies, which is good for him because the more attached he is to his allies, the stronger his will is, and that allows him to take more control over his body in this
manifest more
symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Although I found Spinner's comment to be quite interesting because obviously he's questioning what he was doing at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, All For One is obviously extremely powerful. Like, he's not going to be beaten easily, but he doesn't realise, like, he's not the one that Spinner and all of that actually
follow.
Yeah, exactly.
That will follow,
Yeah.
So, and we know that Shiggy doesn't really want him in his body. He definitely doesn't want him in his body either.
That
So,
was
Horikoshi seems to be setting up an arc of like, All For One versus Shiggy, and
I was about to say one thing off from chapter that I would love if Horikoshi did do it, because All Might, as we said, already pretty much out of the picture, right? And because I really want All For One to kind of I want him to be involved,
disappear.
But yeah, I want him to like, I want it to be Shiggy versus Deku, right?
You want like the next generation.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like Deku versus All For One. So like, I think a League of Villains versus like another League of Villains like that's League of Villains versus All For One. But then at the same time,
I think that is. I genuinely believe. That is what Horikoshi is setting up with this.
I hope so. I really hope so.
So yeah, All For One triggers the Nomus to come and take them away. And as Emon said, Spinner is questioning this. Like, what about Compress, Makia, and Toga is still God knows wherever as well.
Yeah.
And All For One is like enough. Shiggy is lost to One Fall and Endeavour. It's only right that he pays for that loss because he knows how much Shiggy values each of them. And it's all for his sake as well, so he can take more control. And so the Nomus come and they just stampede for everyone. Everyone's exhausted. There's not much Genius can do. He's trying to hold down Makia, and there's too many Nomus.
Whoever's left, it's like
they're all pretty battered and bruised at this point.
Exactly.
Like half of them are like barely alive as it is.
No, definitely.
Yeah. The only one left fighting is Deku, who looks like he uses Floppy's tongue technique again with Black Whip to attach to Shiggy. But All For One, sort of like does one of his, I think it's like his air shocks and sends him.
Yeah, he does the thing where he pushes away.
Oh man.
I did like.
Now, so what's interesting about
Deku?
Before we talk about that because that's really like the main bit. So from what I can tell from the panels, the Nomus have only taken Shiggy and Spinner, and then Dabi is in Spinner's scarf. Those three are safe. So another arc that Horikoshi seems to be setting up here is a prison break arc as well. After Shiggy has dealt with All For One. This also adds positivity to the fate of Compress, because I think the heroes will want to keep Compress alive to question him and all that.
They wouldn't want to kill him.
Down the line you could break him out.
I didn't think last chapter that Compress would die anyway, and I'm like being pushed more towards believing that now, personally. And then there's still Makia to save as well. And Toga. She'll probably
going down that line of your prediction, if they do a prison break, what about what's his name, the one with the warp gate?
Yes.
Was it Kurogiri?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's still in there, isn't he? So that'll be another fight once
still
for him
in
to
there.
break out.
Yeah, because we've seen
I don't
him
know who
since-
he's more loyal to, because obviously from the way it was built up at the beginning, he's like following All for One's instructions.
Yeah.
But then technically he's looking after Shigaraki throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. So
But
is he as
obviously
attached as the rest?
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. Is he
And
as-
obviously his personality
And
splitting
that's-
between him for his former self as well.
and
So
that's the thing I was wondering about, like, because we haven't seen him since all that happened. So like, is he still having
exactly,
is he having like things, or is that guy
Exactly.
just dead straight up? Like, I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So many questions.
He did look a bit like a corpse within that shadow. I won't lie. I don't have
Yeah,
much
yeah.
faith
Yeah.
that he's still alive.
Still kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is anime.
So yeah, I mean,
or manga.
given Horikoshi's recent comments, you know, we still seem to have a Shiggy versus All for One and a Prison Break arc still to come, at least. You know.
Yeah.
More importantly, that will all keep Shiggy occupied because Shiggy is like god level now, and he can't really just be allowed to leave to his own
Right.
devices. So
Yeah.
it ties up all of that as well, which is good. So yeah, to the, you know, the finale of this chapter then. Deku has now. I don't like this,
No, I
but
don't
it's
either, really.
also Deku's character.
It's like
Yeah.
This is just Deku though.
Yes,
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
God.
this is what Deku does. You know, he gives that line again at that moment. You know, the look on your face.
Yeah.
It looked like you needed saving, which in
Yeah.
a sense is true because Shiggy doesn't want All for One. But I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deku is going to learn the hard way that even when Shiggy defeats All for One internally, like, he's still not going to be a friend.
Good
you know?
guy.
Exactly.
But
Shiggy,
at
Shiggy is he's still pure evil. It's not like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
man's still
Yeah.
he's murdered plenty
But-
of people as it is.
He
That's
still
the
wants
thing
to
I found
achieve
weird
his
about
goal.
it. Like, even Deku, the thing is, Deku, like, it reiterates that. Like, he says, this man's a mass murderer, but, I mean, he wanted saving. It's like,
I
that
mean,
man's a
don't
mass
forget,
murderer.
couple chapters ago, Deku's like, I'm gonna kill him. He didn't say he's gonna beat him. He said he's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
So he's kind of going back in on his own words.
Yeah.
I personally think that Deku wants to fight him knowing that it's Shiggy's decision, you know.
Yeah.
I think if Deku fought him knowing that he was controlled,
Yeah.
it wouldn't, you know, be fair in his eyes.
He just,
So
I
I
guess,
think Deku, as much as Shiggy wants, you know, All for One out of the picture, at least for their future fight.
he kind
That's
of
the way I
wants to
interpret
save
these
Shiggy,
words.
even, like, he just wants to save Shiggy because he needs saving, and then after that, he'll deal with him, I guess, is like the thinking
Yeah.
that's probably going to
Exactly.
go behind it. I hope it's
It's
like
his
that.
hero way of thinking.
Exactly.
I said
Look,
it
it's
was
that
the
hero.
back
It's
part,
that hero way of thinking. Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it's like that. I hope that's why.
It's still not gonna end well.
Otherwise, Jordan's gonna be fuming.
What? She turns into a good guy. Oh mate, I'd stop reading it. I'd stop reading it.
Maybe that's why he hasn't caught any bodies.
Maybe that's why.
That's not happening.
It's not.
No, I don't think it will happen either.
Yeah, it's
He has too much hatred.
No,
of
that's not happening.
Good.
Oh man, you do not have enough hate.
But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a very good chapter.
Yeah. Definitely a good chapter.
And it seems like this is the end of the war arc now with that final panel.
Yeah.
Of the destroyed city.
Mhm.
We
Yeah.
still have some things to tie up with, like Destro or Redestro and Gaten as well. We don't know what happened with those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Because like Redestro is like, you know, is one of the big three criminals of the world. So you know he's important. Same as Compressed.
He's
now.
no mug.
And Gaten's just a cool character. I'd like to see more of him personally. So yeah, it seems like the fight is over, and we're gonna.
This looks like the kind
get all
of
the
clean up,
tidy up
kind of
business
getting
now.
everyone out. Like now at this
Yeah.
point, like Toga and that will probably get
there's-
found out, like in the city and stuff. I'd imagine, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can discuss about, you know, just reviewing this arc in general and Horikoshi's comments recently. But like, we'll do all of that another time, I reckon, in a podcast,
In a podcast or something.
So,
yeah, separate video type. Deal.
for now, guys, have you got any final comments and ratings that you want to give the chapter?
To be honest, I feel a lot more better about the chapter after talking about it with you boys, because I was a bit worried. Like whenever I see those like little Shonen-esque kind of endings, and they're like, the villain needs saving, it makes me want to puke in my mouth sometimes. So the fact that we think that it's still
I
gonna
can't wait to see Hiroshi. That's all I'm saying now.
It's like Lewis said. It's just that hero
Smelly.
mentality.
It's
Like,
the
that's
hero
what you have to
mentality.
remember.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what you have to
Deku is the
remember.
person, like, if someone's in need, no matter
if
whether they're
Deku
bad or
wants to be a
good, he'll
melt,
save
he
them
can be a
first.
melt. Right, he can. Deku,
But that's it. Like
That's
you
fine.
don't like it, but that's just Deku, isn't
No,
it?
that's
Like,
fine.
That's
That's
just
it.
what Deku
But don't
is,
pull my
you know?
boy Shiggy down there with him. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
Your boy Shiggy's the one getting infected.
Like, so help him, but just let him kick your ass after. That's fine. Don't worry
Don't
about
you just want to see him
Just bend over
smile?
after.
it. Hopefully you're too tired after. But no, what was it?
Rating.
I'll give it like. Actually, yeah.
I did like the chapter, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Other than
think.
that little bit at the end, that was a bit iffy.
Yeah. Got some good stuff. It's kind of coming to a conclusion. I want to say like an 8 for me. 8 out of 10.
I was thinking like 8.5 for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna give this. I'm torn. I'm gonna give this a 9 as well. I like the new quirk
same as your One
coming
Piece
into
one.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new quirk coming into play. The
They're teasing us a lot. That's what they're doing.
That's
Yeah,
fair
the
enough.
wholesome Shiggy and Spinner moment. That panel of Spinner putting the hand on Shiggy's face goes hard as well.
It does go hard. No, the panels look great. That's the thing, is like, I like
That's
the art
like-
for it.
Even see like
Jordan's
all for
just
one
not sure where
face
the story's
pop up.
going.
No,
That's
and
right.
like I like as Emon said, I loved the hand thing, and then when the art for like when his face was all for
that
one was
moulding
amazing.
into it, isn't
But at
it?
the same time, I was kind of like, get the fuck out of there. I don't want you there. I want Shiggy there.
Yeah, you're
Like,
right.
but it was very
Yeah.
cool. It was very cool. I liked it.
Technically, Shiggy is unconscious
I mean-
at this point.
Yeah.
My guys.
Oh. But yeah, that was a shame. But at the same time, yeah, I think an 8 out of 10. I'm kind of a bit. Horikoshi's losing me a bit, but at the same time, it's like I want to see how this plays out now.
After such an amazing arc, like
Yeah.
I still have high hopes for it. I don't
Hopes.
think.
Yeah,
like,
We did this with the last chapter as well, which is
Yeah.
it's
Jordan
good to
was
have
losing faith.
divided opinions.
This is
like,
much better than
from one
last chapter. Gave it like 5.
Yeah.
last chapter.
From one perspective,
damn,
from one perspective you have like the taking words as words. From the other perspective, you have potentially me, a fool who is putting too much trust in an author. But here we go.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah.
But I have faith in Hori, and the way I interpret all of this, I believe
Yeah.
he won't let us down.
I hope you're right. Like,
There's-
I hope you send up for more twists.
There's
to
no
come.
way he's gonna give the League of Villains that arc and then destroy them 2 arcs later. Like, no way.
What if there's only 2 arcs
Or
left?
is
It's
he?
all. I mean, that's what I'm scared about. But I feel like it's all part of their rise, and I feel like whatever happens after My Hero
And their fall.
Academia
Yeah.
will be a continuation.
Yeah. Could be a part 2 type deal.
Although it's going to be sad seeing, the characters as we know them
Yeah.
potentially leave.
Mhm.
They all have to keep moving forward and progressing.
Yeah.
Personally, I want the series to go on until they retire, but that's just me.
I know you torture forever. Oh god.
I think a lot
Anyway,
of creators do say like, "Oh, I'm gonna wrap it up soon," but look at what Oda did.
Oda, yeah. To be fair, too like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Oda's forever playing mind games with people. So it's-
Oda was
And,
technically
we have-
meant to finish 10 years ago.
He's not wrong.
And we have like Boruto as well, like
Yeah.
Burrito.
showing what can be done. So
Burrito, yes.
Burrito.
To be fair, Burrito.
To be fair. Oh, man.
The manga's actually good.
oh,
Yeah.
Just the anime doesn't give it enough justice. That's what it is.
The anime just wants to fuel out episodes, even though they haven't. They
filler.
can't. They
They
can't
just
do
want
it.
to try. You know what? They could have just made the series seasonal, but they're trying to create a new generation of kids to look
Yeah.
up to it.
Pyrrha-
Unfortunately,
Pyrrha wants
that's
that
the
money.
Ain't no one looking up to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway,
Nah, enjoyed.
if you enjoyed that video, let us know by leaving a like.
Mhm.
Comment what you think about the chapter as well. We do this every weekend, so subscribe for the next ones. We also do reactions and a podcast, as we mentioned during the episode.
Mhm.
So you have those to check out as well if you're new. Thank you for listening. Peace.
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 Yep.